KM Radio with Tony G and Big Lou, the sports book, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Got a lot to cover, a lot of NFL, college football. We're going to get to college at the end if we have enough time because there's so much NFL to cover. And gotta try to fit it in. A lot of good gaming this weekend, a lot of money going back and forth. The Rams and the 49ers. That was a low score there. That was 18 points total. San Francisco got too many injuries. Just
too many injuries.
And the Rams are still in it mathematically. Well, actually, they're more mathematically. They're actually still in it. Well coached, like we always say. That was it. Like I said, that was not a big scoring game, but the weather was, that's what we always say about the weather was, my gosh, it was freezing. It was cold and it was rainy. So it was definitely an undercounted game. So 12-6. The Chiefs and the Browns, you picked this one. They're saying that Mahomes has a high ankle sprain.
Yes.
That hindered him last year. They hopefully, I'm sure they'll try to figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to sit him, make sure it's, because remember last year during the playoffs, he was very limited with his movement.
Yeah.
Very limited.
Very, very limited. And which meant that, he probably had to do a little bit more passing than he was, accustomed to. I don't even think like San Francisco's backup running backs, they're not are they all the way healed, or is it just difficult for them to accumulate large with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt?
I think people are still coming back. They're not 100%. I think they're close.
Right.
The Browns, you know what I mean? I don't know. They got a total reboot. Probably not going to have their $230 million quarterback that they paid, because I don't think I don't think he's interested in playing. It'll be interesting to see, because at this point they can cut him and eat it. I mean, for what he's putting out, I mean, they could try and see if somebody would pick him up, but I just don't see anyone picking him up for that kind of money. I think somebody might pick him up for some minimum money to take a little bit off, but at this stage, I mean, somebody will always take him, but just not for that money. Too much baggage.
Too much going on, too much baggage, too much media baggage, not enough consistent play, no sense of urgency or reassurance from the quarterback to play. And that was just a, costly error on the Browns. I felt like they should have dug in with their research more, because that's a lot of money to put out there. And your backup is just interception prone. That's the only thing about James. James can have a great game. He can have a great statistical game, but those interceptions is what's eating him up. And it's the type of interception. Now, if you throw the ball and the quarterback just beats your receiver, there's nothing you can say about that.
Right.
But it's just the type of interceptions that he throws that makes you scratch your head. It's like, what did you see that we didn't see during that play where, just throw it into the hands of a defender? It's the type of interception that he throws that makes him a liability. Everything else about him is great.
What's funny is Cleveland, and then you got Denver. Denver managed to find them a quarterback coach, even though they're eating. And, Cleveland, mistake paying him all the money. Denver, even though Wilson's having a good year in Pittsburgh, you got to remember Pittsburgh ain't paying him much.
No.
You know what I mean? He's getting paid by Denver.
Yeah.
So he's a freebie in so many words. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him going forward. Also, as long as Pittsburgh can keep him cheap, yeah, there's no doubt they're going to keep him. And they're
Right.
winning, and they get the Bengals and the Titans. Man, the Titans hung tough. Nothing to play for but pride.
Right.
Um, and Burrow, man, if they ever could get him some. I hate to say this, but if Burrow, if Burrow and Chase could go somewhere else, they could be. I mean,
Yeah,
they
it could
could
be
be
dynamic.
scary.
Hmm.
Yeah, somewhere that they could protect him. He just takes too many hits, um,
Right.
putting up unbelievable numbers. Uh, the Bengals win. I mean, they got 6 wins for the year. They're
Hmm.
almost really mathematically out of it. Um, but I mean, hats off to the Titans. The Titans hung tough.
Hmm.
The Commanders and the Saints.
Yes.
Oh, it just I told you I took the Commanders.
Hmm.
Nothing against the Saints. I just thought statistically, I said, well, this is going to be a mismatch. And what do the Saints do? They make a game of it
Hmm.
late, lose by 1 point. Spread was 7. I think I teased it down to 5. Hats off, they did play tough. They went for
Yes.
the 2 points. Some people are saying, um, at the end of the day, statistically he went for the win or lose right then and there. All
Hmm.
what was going on probably was the better. Didn't turn out to be in his favor. Um,
Right.
Saints are 5-9. Um, just got a lot of stuff to work on the off season. Um,
Yes.
you know, uh, I mean, you got Carr, which is gonna be it's gonna have to be addressed whether or not I mean, if they want him, if they're
Right.
gonna keep him. Um,
Yeah. That's the elephant in the room. You know,
that is the elephant in the room.
that's the
Is
elephant in the
definitely
room. Do you want to stick with Carr and see what you can get out of it? You know, I would refer to the locker room and my veterans and my team captains to gauge where the locker room is with this with Carr. Now, if they with him, you don't have a draft pick. It's not a lot of There's not a lot of serviceable free agent quarterbacks out there. There's not going to be. I don't think there's not going to be anybody that's on the market. That value is going to be higher than Derek Carr's is with the team right now. But I would have to address that and make a team decision on that. But I'm not sure. I don't. I My problem with Derek Carr is he holds on to the ball too. And that may be because I'm still drunk off of Drew Brees, 3 second, let it go, timing your receivers, throwing them open. And that's just my issue with him. He can be a good quarterback. He just got to beat it up. He's got to get that ball out of his hands and throw those receivers open. Which he showed
you know
flashes of from time to time. He'll show flashes of that. And you'd be like, okay, he's got it in him. Why can't it be consistent?
right. Well, I think another thing is you make these decisions um, to bring on these quarterbacks coming from other teams that have
Hmm.
played um, and um, Derek Carr is getting. Let's see, he's been in the league 10 years,
Yeah, long time.
and you got to start. You got to start thinking like, well, how long is he going to be in the league? I mean, I
Right,
know some people are playing a little bit longer, but you play 12, 13 years in the league as a quarterback. Provided other than Tom Brady doing what he did, I mean that's a
right,
long career. That's a very
right,
long career, and so you have to go. Well, how deep are we going on going on an 11-year quarterback? Uh,
right.
where do we stand? I mean, it's a
Yeah,
lot to think
yeah,
about.
what's the end game for that? You know.
Right.
So yeah,
Can we
so
win now? Just like
right,
just like we'll get to the Jets. I mean, the Ravens and the Giants. The Giants, they are and they're in disarray, and they got a lot to
Mhm.
do on the off season. Um, the Ravens did what they were supposed to do. Lamar being
Mhm.
Lamar, doing what um he does, and the Ravens look good. Um, the Ravens are a good team. They're 9-5. Um,
Mhm.
so they're gonna be like he's legend. Um, they're going to be. Let's see. Lamar threw for 290 yards, no interceptions. Did what he was supposed to. Did what he was supposed to do. They ran the ball well. Played hardball football like they always do. Um, I mean, they're in the playoffs, so
Right.
they're going to be they're going to be a very tough opponent. The Cowboys and the Panthers. The Cowboys beat up on the Panthers. Um,
Like expected.
yeah, that I mean,
Mhm.
it's just kind of one of those things. Um, Still a lot of that they're another team that's got um, got
Yeah.
a lot of
Key.
things. Cooper Rush looked good.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Injuries took a toll on the Cowboys season also,
right?
and certain decision making decision some of the decision making wasn't all too well. I felt like they could have got a better backup running back than in Ezekiel Elliott, but we also know that their owner believes in the players that he draft, regardless if he had to let them go, bring them back or not. I think they could have made a better decision with that, but
I mean
yeah,
that backup Rico Dow. I mean, he ran for like 140 yards, 150 yards. I mean,
yes,
that's all cool. It's all late in the season. I mean, a lot of this stuff is nothing to take away from. Good for him. Um,
right.
they're empty stats playing against beat up teams. Um, so you can't really bank a whole lot on that. But the Cowboys did get the win. They're 6-8. They have a chance of finishing 500 because I
Hmm.
think they play the Giants again. So that's always a
Yeah,
nice one for you.
yeah. I think there's the remaining teams. It's like what they play. They have to play Philly one more time. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, they play Philly one more time. I think the Bucks. I'm not sure. I have to look at that. I have to check their schedule. But I
yeah, I
know they
think you're right. I
got
think
two or
the yeah,
three good games that they had to play. Winnable games if they execute, but you know, I'm not so sure about the bake show. I mean, Tampa Bay is rolling on all cylinders.
yeah. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he had a great day against a beat up Jacksonville passing. Mac Jones. He had two interceptions, but he threw for almost 300 yards. I think Jacksonville is going to be one of those spots that if they keep the coach, may be a quarterback that may be thrown out there uh, to see what they can get for him. It all depends if they keep the coach um, or not. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Like we always talk about, a lot of these coaches come in and the first thing out of their mouth is like, "Well, that's not my quarterback." You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is, I think, which is really Trevor Lawrence. I think is a good quarterback. I think he's been beat up. I think he's went through way too many offensive coordinators.
Hmm.
Um, Too many schemes. I think if he was in a good, healthy spot, I really think we could see how great his arm is.
Hmm.
Just
A little
just
bit.
as taking, yeah, taking way too much abuse. Uh,
Right. And so,
uh
and some marquee veteran talent around it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's like they got the garbage time. And no disrespect to the team because, they play when they want to play, but, that offensive line is not going to work for him. He's been dealing with that his whole career. And
yeah,
so I kind of have I have a little sympathy for Sunshine because of what he has to go through, the turmoil he has to go through, the changes he has to go through. Kind of like Baker when he was in his
yeah,
Cleveland days
yeah,
and his Carolina days. It wasn't so much the player. It was what he had around him and the coaching that he had, and it's pretty much what's around Trevor. It's
No,
pretty much what's
absolutely.
around. They have a few key players, but that offensive line is atrocious.
Yeah.
So they got to do some cleaning up down there too because he's paid. They paid him,
Yeah.
so they got to lock in. With a coach with a scheme and get him some talent. You know, we understand that all quarterbacks, you know, good or bad, they're gonna need some talent to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Miami and Houston. Miami going down to Houston.
Hmm.
Houston really, I mean, they handled them. I mean, the score was only 20-12. I understand that, but they picked
Hmm.
him off three times. I think they're gonna shake the house up in Miami in the offseason too. I mean,
Yes.
this is um 2 years in a row. I mean, they fell apart last year. They jumped out on the league. They jumped out in the division midway. The Bills were struggling, and the Bills came back and just took over the division. And then
Hmm.
this year, they've been kind of a disappointment. He's had some really, I mean, he's had some good days. But again, they got to have them days against the good teams. And Houston's a good young team. This was
Hmm.
a good matchup. I mean, CJ Stroud only threw for 131 yards. He only threw 28 times, two
Right.
TDs. So they were doing it a lot of different ways. Um, and I think the Dolphins. I mean, I think they're gonna go. They're gonna rattle it up too. You got to figure out what we're doing. Um,
Yeah, they got to shake it up because with the record being the way it is, and especially when you have both the Patriots and the Jets kind of you know hanging on by a thread. They should have dominated. This was the season for them to dominate. But we know two things about Tua. It's got to be perfect. Everything has to work. Number one. Number two, can't play in cold weather. Can't play in cold weather.
did you
Even
see
in
the wi-
Kansas City.
Did you see the wide receiver? Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Getting carted off the field in Miami, man.
Oh
My
yeah,
heart,
yeah.
yeah, goes out to his family. I was like, whoa, yeah. He got hit. I mean,
Hmm.
he definitely got, um, definitely cut. I think that took some out of them too. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
to see your, to see your, to see
Yeah.
your
See.
teammate. Yeah, that was terrible. Um, but, um, everything's moving. He has feeling in all his extremities, so that's good.
Okay. That's a good
They're
thing. That's great.
monitoring him. Yeah,
That's good.
I'm sure he's going to be. I'm sure he'll be out for a minute before they
Hmm.
let him go with with the concussion rules. Um,
Hmm.
that's another thing with Miami, and I hate to be like this, but is Tua, who I really like, small quarterback, moves around. Is he one concussion away from ending career?
It looks it you don't wish it, but it looks that way
No.
to me, Tony. It looks like he's
Yeah.
just one wrong slide or fake slide or extra effort. He's just one of those away from, not being able to play football anymore. And I don't wish that on, especially on young
Anybody.
guys,
Yeah.
not on anybody, but especially the young guys. But yeah, I think that there's going to be some talks about Tua because okay, you had Odell and Cheetah, you know, and you
Yeah.
got a smart coach in Mike McDaniel, you know, he's a youth. So
Yeah.
and
That's
he's
true.
he's another quarterback that got paid. So
Yeah.
that'll
I
be
think
interesting to see.
It's interesting. Odell's going his way. I think Odell is, I don't know, man. I don't think a lot of people have picked him up ever since the bad injury, and he hasn't really been
Yeah,
that
hasn't
big of
really
a factor. Um,
right. He hasn't been that game changer, X factor that he was supposed to be. Draw all the
Now,
attention away and let Cheetah go. But yeah.
we got the Broncos and the Colts. The Broncos won 31-13. Bo Nix had a rough day. He had 3 interceptions, had 3 TDs, didn't throw for a bunch of yards. Um, but Anthony Richards had two. Had two. I mean, Denver came back in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, it was actually it was 13-10, and then Denver
Hmm.
scored 21 points in the fourth, eating up the. I mean, it was like, oh, okay. So again, they got Sean over there in Denver. They're well coached. They got a
Hmm.
couple. I've watched a lot of games with them. They've got some issues on defense, but I know Sean's going to fix those.
Right.
This year they're ahead of the ball. I think they're. I think they got to be ahead of where they thought they were going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I
Absolutely.
think
I
we
don't
gave
think
them
they're
like
gonna.
7 games.
Right. I don't think they. I don't think they expected for Bo Mix to catch on to his scheme as fast as he has, as fast as he did or is doing. I thought they was probably gonna say, okay, this season is gonna kind of be up and down. He's got to learn some things, but he picked it up fast. Or Sean Payton is that coach that we know of that's going to scheme around your best quarterback traits and develop a team around what you're very good at. So
Right.
yeah.
Um, and that's Sean getting the best uh out of everyone. That's kind of his MO. I mean, so
Hmm.
I'm not necessarily surprised about him putting together um a winning deal there that by any means.
Hmm.
I think they're going to be, as years go on, I think it's going to have a heck of he's got a good foundation for and a good team going
Yeah.
to going forward.
Right.
Now the game that we gave you, I said, man, the over is the Bills and the Lions. This was
Hmm.
a this was a shootout.
Man. Yes,
Um,
it
I mean,
was.
I mean Detroit coming back. I mean, Jared Goff threw for 494 yards,
Wow.
five
This is Jared
TDs.
Goff we talk about.
Yes, Jared Goff we're talking about. Uh, Josh Allen threw for 2 TDs, 362 yards. The Bills rushing, that's really, which was kind of strange. The Bills ran the ball down their throat, 197 yards. James Cook had 105. Josh
Right.
Allen had 68. Ray Davis, but that's a lot of yards they controlled. But Detroit, being Detroit, and that's what scares me about Detroit is there ain't no quitting that dog. You know what I mean? That guy
No.
believes in. I'm just going to keep coming at you. So that's
Hmm.
a factor that you have to go. Hey, our foot has to be on the gas at all times. Yeah, he tried. I
Absolutely.
mean, people are, oh, he tried the onside kick. He's going to try every. I mean, he's going to try fake punts. He's going to. That's
Right.
just who he is.
Right.
That is just him. He is balls to the wall, 24/7. Um, and you got to be prepared for it. So
Hmm.
you cannot get too you cannot get too
Complacent or too
just yeah, too complacent. There ain't no doubt about that because he'll
right.
keep bringing the smoke. Now
Hmm.
the Eagles and the Eagles and the Steelers wasn't surprised. The Eagles, we
Hmm.
said we like the Eagles because I question the Steelers sometimes because of their schedule matchup and their division. Um,
Hmm.
They're always well coached, and they had a little brawl there. They were getting at it now. They were definitely getting at it. And watching the Eagles, I mean, if they're not the best team in the NFC, they're tied.
Right.
We could. I think the conversation could go however you want it to go. We could argue back and forth about Detroit and
Hmm.
them.
Not Detroit
Um,
and Philadelphia. I agree.
yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts, I mean, he 290 yards. Russell only had 128. They were bogging, they were bogging Pittsburgh down. They really were. They really
Hmm.
um and Philadelphia's receiving was 290. They ran for Barkley had 65, 131 for the team. I mean, so they really handled the game to me. I mean, going into the half, it was 17-3. And then to me, they just kind of took over. Uh,
Hmm.
just kind of took over the situation.
Right.
Philly's a force, man. Philly's a force.
Hmm.
Um, and they're going to be I think it's going to be them or Detroit going to the Super Bowl. I mean, anything
I
can happen.
agree.
Yeah, it could be an injury, and I could be wrong, and but you know, and then we go to the Patriots and Cardinals. Cardinals Cardinals win 30-17, got their 7 and
Hmm.
7, trying to make something happen. Um,
Hmm.
and then the Buccaneers handling up on
Yeah,
Harbaugh's
handling up. Yeah.
Chargers, and which I wasn't necessarily surprised. I thought it would be. I mean, Herbert only had one interception. Mayfield had, but they just bogged them down and
Hmm.
just kind of, going into the half, it was pretty close, 13-17, and then Tampa Bay put it in that other drive,
Hmm.
and hey, man, they did the damn thing. I ain't
Right.
gonna lie. Mayfield, I like him a lot more than he's with Tampa Bay. A lot
I do
humbler.
too.
Yeah, a lot humbler. Not as and I like I said, I wasn't against him. I just sometimes, man, just do it. Stop getting in the limelight and doing
Right.
what.
And just do your job.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
Packers and the Seahawks. Were you
mhm.
surprised at this one?
I was surprised at how the Packers handled them in Seattle. I didn't think they was going to handle them like they did. You know, put the 30 burger on them. I thought it was going to be a closer game, maybe win by a field goal, maybe. If they did pull out the win, I didn't expect for it to be, I didn't expect for the numbers to be like it was, but that's the Seahawks. They play like, okay, they're going to take over this division. And then they'll come and lay an egg at home, which is a rarity, regardless of what Seattle team you have on the field. It's a
Right.
rarity that they lose when they have the 13 man behind them. But that's just how the play's been all season with Seattle. Just when you get ready to jump on their bandwagon, they'll do one of these at home. So,
So, and I think the Packers are right underneath. The Packers are underneath Detroit, and now we're leaving out Minnesota. I don't want to. They're all kind of jumbled in there. You know what I mean?
hmm.
But Philly and Detroit, and then you got the Vikings and the Packers, but there's definitely, I think there's a little bit of a space there. But hey, when
Right,
we come back, we're going to cover over a bunch of games coming on this week. Try to go back to the college football. I want to thank
right.
everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, the Sports Book on KM Radio, where we go ham. KM Radio, Tony G, Big Lou, the Sports Book, 8 o'clock Tuesday night. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. Always a pleasure. All right, we're going to see if we can make some money this week. There's going to be a lot of tight games, going to be some good
Hmm.
ones. The first one is going to be our Thursday night game again, Broncos and Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are playing at home. Harbaugh's
Hmm.
coming off the loss. Two good coaches.
Right.
Um, I like the under in this, and the reason being because of the coaches, a little bit of
Hmm.
familiarity with each other. Um, the under's 42. Again, you
Hmm.
can tease that if you want. Um, which isn't a bad thing. People always ask me, about teasing. You give up a little bit of your money line, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I mean, we're gambling for fun, trying to win some money. I mean, whatever you can, a win's a win. Um,
Right.
we're not betting enough money to change the lines or anything. So if you can tease that up to 50, and it's not a crazy number. Now the spread's 3. Um,
Hmm.
this is gonna be a tough game because and the reason why I say that is I think Harbaugh's going to throw everything he can at Nick's, and they're going to try to make it. and of course, Sean Payton is going to have a. He's gonna go back to he's gonna be a heavily run. I don't expect Knicks don't ever throw 50 times. So
Right.
they're gonna I think they're gonna pull the box. I like the Chargers
Okay.
-3.
Chargers -3. And come on, this time I think it's time for Herbert to show us something.
I do too. I do too.
Because it's what this is 10 seasons, right? He's been in the league for 10 seasons. If I'm
As
not mistaken.
I is it been let's look it up. Let's make sure.
Right. Because he's
Yes.
been there a while now. It's time, you got the coach, you got the mindset, you got identity. Let's go. Let's go, Justin Herbert. We know you have the talent. We need consistency. You got to win some games. You got to dig in your bag
Let me
and
see.
win some games for us.
No, it's he's only been in the league 4 years.
4 years. What did I
Yeah,
think 10?
20 or 5 years. 20,
4 years.
21,
5 years. Okay.
22, 23, 25. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
was like,
So
wait
it's
a minute.
five
Yeah.
years. Yeah, I'm
Still
mistaken.
though,
I'm
yeah,
putting too many miles on
yeah.
him.
So no, it's still time for him to take command and lead
Right.
this
Make
team,
it his team. Right.
make it his team. And that's Thursday night 7. We like the Chargers. We like the under.
Hmm.
Houston and Kansas City. This is an interesting one.
Hmm.
Does Kansas City sit Mahomes? Because that changes everything. We don't know
Right.
just yet. Um, and I know Kansas City wants to. Let's do this. Let's go here and let's do this. Kansas City obviously wants home field advantage. There's absolutely no. There's no. And I don't think the Bills are 11-3. Chiefs are 13-1. If they take a loss, if they win, that's it. It's over. They got home field. They got home field advantage. They'll be
Right.
14-1. If the Bills win, they'll be 12-3. I mean, it's still possible. I mean, it's still going to be down to the wire for the and there's nobody else. The Steelers were close, but the Steelers are 10-4. They're
Hmm.
behind Buffalo to get the second seed. Um, and I know the Chiefs won it, but like I said, this game could go a different way if Kansas City sits. And then Houston's a young team. Like I said, they're going into Kansas City.
Hmm.
The weather, the weather could be a factor. You
Hmm.
definitely got to watch this. They got the over at 40 even. Um, like I said, when they make these overs and unders, believe me, they're they're pretty tight. And that over
Hmm.
is very attractive to make you believe, you know what I mean? But I can see
Right.
Kansas City. I can see Kansas City winning this 20-10.
Right.
Um,
And also, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Saturday game.
yes, it is.
This is a Saturday game. It airs. It's going to be on NBC Peacock. It's going to start at 12 noon on the 21st. So that's going to
Golly,
be
we're
our, yeah, we're
almost
already
Chris.
almost there. It goes by so fast, so fast.
It does. It sure is. The 21st of December, Kansas City and Houston. Got to check out the injury report on
Hmm.
Saturday for this game.
Yep.
Um,
There's a lot of players questionable. So y'all make sure y'all look at that injury report before, before y'all place your bets and spend your money. Let's see who's going to be on that roster, who's playing before you make your decision.
so the next game is Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. This is a must
Mm,
win, I think, for both of them. Um,
yes.
and the reason why I say must win is they're tight. Um, and they don't want to, I mean, you want to put your foot on somebody. So when you play them in the playoffs, and I know Pittsburgh's going to want to play at home, and the Ravens are only one game. To me, this game is for the AFC North.
Right.
This is gonna be a game. Um,
Hmm.
and they got Baltimore -6. They got the over under 45.
Hmm.
Um, definitely check out the injured reserve list. This is going to be a tight game, man. I think if you can, watch these games live because, man, I think if you can get Pitt +8, because I don't see either one of these blowing the other one out. I think this could be a field goal game, and if you can get Pitt squeak it out to 8, um, I don't think that's a I don't think that's a bad thing because
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be tight. Um, the over the 45. I like the over in this. I know usually they play pretty tight because
Hmm.
but they both seem to be able to move the ball very well against each other. Um,
Hmm.
so that being said, I mean I like the over. I like Pittsburgh plus the points. Depending on where this changes is depending
Hmm.
on how I bet it. Again, that's as of today. But this line, and I hate betting it today because I know there's going to be there. It could change, and so
Hmm.
Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon is when I would really look at the game. Philadelphia
Right.
and the Washington Commanders. I think Philly's too much. I think Washington is a really great young team.
Hmm.
Um, but I think Philadelphia is a way better team. And I think Philly's gonna put their stamp on it in Washington. I like Philly -3.
Hmm.
Um, even though Washington is playing at home, and like I said, they got a good, they got a really good team. Well, they won
Hmm.
more than we thought they were going to win. Um, two more than we thought they were going to win. So,
Right.
but at this point, I like Philly. Not so much a favor of the over just yet. Um,
Right. It is kind of high for the
yeah,
way
it
these
is
guys
kind of
play,
yeah
the way they play each other. They don't. They
at
really
home,
don't score a lot of points on each other unless they're playing against a Dallas or New York or something like that.
but I definitely like Philly -3.
I'm with you on that one.
All right, the next one is the Bills and the Patriots. I think the Bills are going to come out, and if they jump up, I think Josh Allen's coming out.
I agree.
So that being said, do I think Buffalo's going to win? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to cover the 14? I'm not 100% on that. And I mean,
I
if you
agree.
can tweak, yeah, if you can tweak the spread of New England to 16-17, like I said, the Bills just, I mean, I mean, because if they have an opportunity to pull Josh and to pull Cooks and pull, what I mean, they're going to pull them and
Hmm.
maintain the game, get the win. And again, the Patriots are going to play us tough. They always play us
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. Division
Obviously,
rival.
yeah, division rival. Obviously, we have a better team than they do. That's not a secret. Um,
Hmm.
but that being said, I think the Bills win, but I just, you can't bet them on the money line. It's -900. I mean, there's just not a lot of the action is trying to get New England as much as you can get on the points and
Right.
waiting for the Bills to pull Josh and them, and that the Patriots, if you get them, they're at 14 right now. That could go up if you
Hmm.
get them. The Bills, the Bills could win by 10 because like I said, I really believe that the Bills they're gonna pull. They're not gonna risk everybody going forward. They're trying to, especially if Kansas City loses.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Because then all of a sudden, hey, we win, we're one game out of the home. Because then if they tie, Buffalo's got the tiebreaker, they beat them.
Right.
So that being, there's a lot of factors. But again, New England, New England with the points.
Hmm.
All right. The Rams and the Jets. The Jets are +3. The only reason why I think the Jets are +3, well, there's a couple factors. They're at home
Hmm.
and the weather.
Right.
That's to me, that's the factor.
Hmm.
Um, so this is one of them games that you're going to really have to watch the weather, watch your reports, because you know,
Watch your
yeah,
players. There's going to be some drop passes and things like that. Now, I'm not so much worried about Stafford because he played in Detroit for so long. Even though Detroit was in the dome, they still
right,
had to go
right,
see Green Bay and Chicago and
right,
Minnesota. That's in a dome, but it's still cold up there too.
yeah.
So,
No,
not so
there's
much
no
worried about
doubt
Stafford. It's just the team around him.
the
Will they be
dynamics.
able to handle it cold? Yeah.
Yeah, if the weather gets real, real bad, um, and it's a tight spread, it's three. Um,
Hmm.
but yes, I think the Rams are a way better team. But due to the Jets being in the cold weather, I just think that they're. I don't know about this one. Like I said, I try to find easy ones. Call me what you want.
Hmm.
I'm here trying to make easy money. I ain't trying to dissect every single game. Going on to the let me see. Going on to the next one, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals. Usually a big hype.
Hmm.
Since Cincinnati, I like Cincinnati. I like Burrow anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
I like Chase yardage,
Hmm.
and you can go on and on. There's going to be a lot of money to be made on this.
Hmm.
Um, I think Cincinnati wins, but my like I said, there's money to be made on Cincinnati winning. Chase with his yards.
Hmm.
Um,
Burrow with
Joe,
his
anytime touchdown.
hmm
Um, let me see.
you might be
Uh,
able to get some depending on you might be able to get some running back. Maybe you might be able
yeah,
to get something out of Chubb. You might
yeah,
because it's a division game. But check your reports. See if see what's going on.
absolutely. But there's action on. There's definitely action on this game. There's no doubt. Let me see. Plenty of avenues on this game to make money. That's for sure. The Bengals are at home. Like I said, Burrow, Chase. Next one is Garrett, Arizona, Carolina Panthers. I like Arizona going to Carolina. I think Carolina, but this is going to be a tight one again. Carolina doesn't have anything to play for,
No.
just pride, and they have proved they've hung in with Philly. They've given everybody what I mean. They've been
Hmm.
there. They've been able to win
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
But
Now it's
Carolina,
I'm with you. And I think now with Carolina, it's draft pick positioning. See
yeah,
if they can
yeah,
get some young players in from Carolina.
yeah. So I like Arizona -4, playing with the spread maybe a little bit. Um, the money line's -210.
Hmm.
So, it just depends how much you're willing to give up. Betting 210 to win 100. Um,
Right.
and then you got the over is 47, which is could be doable, but then you're relying on Carolina to score some points too, and it's
Right.
47. So I don't know because I can see Arizona winning, like I said, winning 24-10, twenty-four
Hmm.
14, which doesn't cover that over at 47. Um,
Right.
San Francisco and Miami.
Hmm.
Miami's favored because Miami's at home.
Right.
Um, so I know San Fran's got a lot of injuries. Heard he's still playing. The linebacker they suspended, the one that didn't want to play anymore. I don't know what happened.
Yes. I think he got cut. I'll check and do an update on social media, but I think he's been cut or he's on the verge of getting cut because
He's
he rubbed a
suspended
lot
for
of
three
teammates the
games.
right.
Yeah,
He's
I
rubbed the
know that.
teammates yeah, he's rubbed some teammates the wrong way with that. It's not injury or anything. It's just you lost your spot. And that's real selfish. And with guys that have been shot and have lost children and family members, and they still put it out on that field, and you're all up in arms because you lost your spot.
Right.
So it's not a team thing; it's a you thing. That was your opportunity to step your play up. Evidently, your play was not up to par for you to keep that job. So, sometimes you got to do some self-evaluation before you blame the world. Got to point the finger back at the source sometimes.
And to be honest with you, I was surprised to see that on a San Francisco team. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
I was very surprised. Um, I was, I was very surprised to see that on a San Francisco team. Um, so obviously they got some stuff, but to be honest with you, you got Miami at home. Weather should
Hmm.
be nice. It's not going to be
Yeah.
too hot. Um, checking all depends who's all playing for San Fran. They can put together enough people.
Hmm.
I mean, I like San Fran plus the 1.5. I know
Okay.
some people are going to be like, "Oh man, you." I said they still got a good D. They got the players. I know they're missing a lot, but Miami just hasn't played that well.
Right.
They've been kind of disappointing. Um, and to me, I think San Fran's going to rally behind this loss, and I like San Fran plus the 1.5. Not so interested in the over. The
Right.
money line's 105. Isn't a um terrible. Um, but I think, yeah, I like San Fran plus the 1.5. All right. Tampa Bay and the Dallas Cowboys.
Hmm.
I like Tampa Bay. I mean, I think they're playing better.
Hmm.
I mean, I think Dallas did come off a win. I just think that I think Tampa's just a better team, playing better, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. And I know Dallas should be playing for pride, but I kind of question that.
Right.
I mean, I kind of question that, and the reason why I question it is, um, I mean, and you can say whatever you want to say, but I think the character of the Dallas Cowboys has been in question this season,
Right. Right.
and I
I
and I
agree with you
think
on that.
I mean, just a lot of things that have been said and done. I think a lot of people are questioning, and even upper management is questioning, the true character of the team. And so
Hmm.
I like Tampa Bay with them trying to win a playoff spot coming into
Hmm.
Dallas. And Dallas is, I mean, we've seen them this year playing at home doesn't seem to, don't really, they went,
No,
I
it's
don't know how
not
many,
helping the cause.
yeah, a year and a half without losing or whatever it was, without losing at home. And then they've lost three at home. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they're definitely beatable at home. Um, Cooper's done a good job. I mean, he's done a pretty good job. They've
Hmm.
had the backup running back has stepped in. Um, Zeke really hasn't done a lot, which is crazy to me. When
Right.
I say
Mm.
that is, with everybody going down, I thought maybe he was going to get the opportunity to, and some of it he hasn't really got maybe the opportunity. And the other thing is maybe the legs are gone. You know what I mean? Maybe it's over.
And I think that's what it is. I think the legs are gone. I think they're gone. Um, Especially, when he was in New England, and I know New England is that's a tough scheme, you know, to learn. But I think that his best days are behind him, and he's not even really that third down force that you need to pick up a first down to keep the drive moving. Um, he has flashes, but they're too far in between.
And
So
and
yeah, I think his
Dallas
time
you
is up for him.
and Dallas used him. They used the heck out of him. I mean,
Yes, they did.
they ran him hard for a long time, and it definitely and you know then he had some injuries, and he just
Hmm.
never ever was up to. He had like you said, he had a couple little flashes, um, but it just hasn't been the same. Um,
Right.
Another one, take Mayfield with anytime touchdown. It's not a bad pick on
Right.
that. But I like the Bucks -4. Um, and I think Dallas is gonna. I mean, I think they're gonna try to make a game of it, but I think Tampa's just too good. And I think
Hmm.
if they can, I think if they jump out on the Cowboys, I just don't see the Cowboys put it. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying. I'm looking at what we've done this year, and I just don't
Hmm.
see them. I just don't see them putting up too much of a fight if they go behind 14-0. You know what I mean?
Right.
And another
Right.
thing is they don't have the manpower to do it. It ain't even so much that they're not trying because they're professionals. I know they want to win, but I just don't think they have the manpower to do it. So I mean, saying that, all this, I like I like Tampa minus I like Tampa -4, and I like the anytime touchdown.
Okay.
I definitely like that. All right, now we got your Saints. It's the last game. Playing Green Bay in Green Bay. They're 13-point dogs. With enough points, I mean, what are you thinking? Just too much firepower?
Too much firepower. Uh, Too much Jacobs because Jacobs is a running and a check down threat. And the Packers are on a roll, and the Saints struggle in Lambeau. They struggle on Lambeau Field because not only is it cold, but it's grass, it's outside, so it's going to be, it's going to be hard hitting that turf. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And is
I have love for my Saints, but at the same time, I know my team, and I know my team is not going to do well in Green Bay.
is the running back um
Tomorrow,
y'all's running Kamara, is he
hmm
somebody they had put some reports, let me see if I can pull it up, that he
yeah,
was kind
he's
of banged.
yeah, him, Derek Carr are questionable. Kool-Aid McKinstry questionable. Defensive end, to know Passignon questionable, and DeMarco Jackson is on injured reserve, their linebacker. All of these people that I just call out, their return date is projected to be December 23rd. That's when they come back. Uh, that's their estimated return date. But those four key players are questionable for their game in Green Bay. So I know you love your team, but as a betting man, I don't know. I probably play some parlay legs, you know. But if these guys come back and they're okay in practice, I'll have to keep an eye on the Saints website to see what their status is, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah,
But
because the
I think
game
Green
is,
Bay is going to win it.
I mean, it's the 7:15 game. Um, yeah, if Carr doesn't come back, even though the backup did okay, I know Green Bay's defense is is playing very well. The
Hmm.
offense is definitely taken um and Love may be another one for anytime touchdown.
Right.
You know, what I mean,
Hmm.
that's another, and I've been picking. He's got a couple as number one wide receiver. Anytime checking the yards because the Saints. I mean, right off the list you read, 6, 7 people of
Hmm.
main people. We're not even talking
Yeah, the
about the other
key
ones,
players. Right.
key players. Um, yeah, just so many injuries. The season is so long, and like I said, I mean not Detroit, but Green Bay's. You know, they're playing to win because they're trying to move up that ladder and stay consistent. Um, yeah, definitely try to stay consistent with everything that's going on because you don't want to lay off. I mean, I'm not saying they won't. And this is another one of those games where if they do pop off and they're up by 20 going into late in the third quarter, they start pulling people, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, gee, they're not. That's when you see other teams scoring. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which diminishes your point spread. That's the only drawback. Sometimes in this late part of the season, you get a lot of teams like we talked about 2 weeks ago with Pittsburgh. Literally, was it? Yeah, it was Pittsburgh. Literally sitting on the ball for almost 2 minutes at the goal line and just
Mm-hmm.
wasting, taking knees, which was strange. So you got to really kind of watch. You got to watch your spreads and who's in what position. Um,
Right.
but kind of going from there. All right, guys. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Big Lou. I want to thank everyone at KM Radio. I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you got. It's happy. Hope you enjoy yourself. Be careful. Enjoy your family. And remember, if you guys want to reach out to us, KM Radio, Sportsbook, whichever one you want, just reach out to us and get us. All right, Big Lou, another Tuesday night in the books. KM Radio, Tony G, Big Lou, the Sportsbook, where we go ham.
Damn.